Okay, cool. Okay, so we should, let me just double check that we're recording. We are recording. Okay.
Perfect.
So do you want to share what we're doing today, Tracy?
Sure. Jessica and I are putting on kind of a mock recruiting appointment on how to use our new technology through recruiting. She has mastered this and has some great scripts and dialogues that we would like to show you. So I'm
far from mastered though.
Yeah. So our roles are, I'm the recruitee and the recruitee, and I am an $8 million producer. We're going to go through, you're going to ask me questions in regards to what I'm currently using as bolt-on technology, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. And what brokerage are you at? Are you RE/MAX?
So,
are you RE/MAX today, or what company are you?
Sure, I am RE/MAX today.
$8 million RE/MAX, awesome. Okay, so we're going to pretend that I sent Tracy a little message through my Facebook. I'm going to share with you what that message looks like. So if you look at my screen, I'll even show one that I just sent. Move my little dashboard here. And you should be able to see my Facebook right now. And on my Facebook, this is an agent, Deb Ward. She's a great agent. She actually left us. And she is she and her team are probably about a $20 million producer. And we have some sort of relationship still, and yet she left and started her own brand. So my message to her, you'll see on the screen, I'm hoping, Tracy, you can see on the screen, it says, what day next week do you have 30 minutes to connect with me about the Zillow killer? Here is a sneak peek. I can meet with you over the Zoom meeting, which is what we're doing right now, over coffee or lunch, or at my office. Can't wait to catch up. And then I have a little link. Now this link here, if you click on it, goes to this video. This isn't the Zillow killer video, and I'm going to tell you why. If you watch the Zillow killer video to someone outside of the company, they don't even know what it is. I mean, if you watch it again as with someone else, then they don't know Keller Williams. They won't really know what you're looking at, whereas this video does a better job explaining command and the benefits to the agents, etc. So that's why I'm showing this video. Now, the reason I want to point this out is I loaded this to my own YouTube, and you can see right now I've had 528 views.
Awesome.
That's in the last couple days, and I've only shared that message with 20 people. Pretty cool, huh? So it's
awesome.
Going viral. So I know this message is very effective, and that's why I loaded it to my YouTube channel, so I can kind of watch that number and see how many people are watching, passing that along for me. So all I did was send that to her with that link, and she said, hey there, lady, I would love to meet with you. But she's in Europe. So we're getting together when she gets back from Europe. I've had nothing but pleasantries. So anyone that I've met with about this, they've all said, heck yeah, when do you want to meet? I haven't had any objection. And the cool thing is there's really no way to object over Facebook. So they either just don't respond to you or they engage with you. And so really all these people that I've been messaging have been pretty open to it. So all I'm doing then is setting up a Zoom. Most of them choose the Zoom. And that's okay, because this is a great way for us to get the conversation started. And frankly, everyone that has met with me has then said, okay, yeah, we do need to get together. And that's been the more traditional appointment that you're used to doing. So this is a great appointment getter. And clearly, just by sharing that information with that one video, they're able to, they're spreading it around for me. So that's not harming us in any way. So that's how we got this appointment, okay?
Perfect.
And so I'm going to dive into the appointment. If I'm meeting you in person, I have command, both the console where you sign in and connect open on my big screens, and I have a big monitor next to me. It was like $250, just HDMI to my computer, and I can show as I go. And that's been much more powerful than just rhetoric, because the reality is everyone, I was telling Tracy this earlier, everyone I've met with, they don't know what the heck's going on. They know nothing about the fourth industrial revolution, and they're kind of shell-shocked when we start the conversation. So I've talked about the Zillow killer. That's how I got this appointment, and you'll see that I'll get into it, but I pivot quickly right to her. I don't spend a lot of time selling the Zillow killer. Okay.
Jessica, do you use this with your own agents for retention?
Yes. So here's the thing. This all started with me practicing on my own agents. And I would recommend that you do something like this to your own agents. Get them one-on-one for 20 minutes, your top dogs, to get them in the now. And you might say, hey, I need just a few minutes of your time. When can you come down to my office? I want to show you something. And do this because they're like, whoa, because they've heard about the fourth industrial revolution. They've heard us bantering, but they don't really know. They don't really know. And so, keep that in mind. So let's just dive into it. So Tracy, I'm so grateful for your time, and I want to make the most of it. How much time do we have right now? Did you give like 30
about 30 minutes?
Okay, great. Let's dive right in then. So, I was going to just jump right into the Zillow killer, but yet I want to back up a little bit because with you being at RE/MAX, I want to know how much you understand or are aware of with the fourth industrial revolution that's going on, the industry changes with Purple Brick, Opendoor, Zillow, now being our newest competitor. How up to speed are you with that?
I know a little bit, but to be honest with you, I'm just so focused on my own business. I really don't listen to them as much as I should.
Got it. Well, and I'm right there with you. And yet, here's the thing. I want to wake you up as I'm waking up my own agents because the industry is changing and there's this real big race going on right now. In fact, I have a really cool article that I'm going to send you after our call. Or I can drop it by your office or whatever, but it's a really great article and you owe it to yourself to read it because right now we're in the midst of a real disruptive time in our industry. And it's a race. We have two different types of races going on. We've got Zillow that's trying to take us out of the picture, that doesn't even think realtors need to exist. And they're now competing with us. They have a mortgage brokerage and a real estate firm. Were you aware of that?
I have heard that.
Yeah.
That concerns me.
Yeah, and they made the pivot already. And Quicken Loans now has Rocket Homes and Rocket Mortgage, which again, I'm sure with a volume of business you do, you probably have people get pre-approved by Quicken because they're the biggest mortgage brokerage out there. And here's the thing. If they do, Quicken Loan is telling them not to use you and use one of their guys and they'll give them a kickback. Yes. In fact, it even goes further. Opendoor says if you use us as a buyer's agent, we'll give you half the commission back.
Oof.
Yeah. So isn't that horrible? I mean, I've been in this business for 24 years. I can't even believe we're here right now. And it's because the consumer demands a different experience. And you and I, we go about our day. We're very busy. I want you to wake up a little and be aware of this because if you don't, make some adjustments. And this is all of us. I don't care which brokerage you're at. If we don't wake up and make some adjustments, we might be out of the business.
That's scary.
And, that's why I'm reaching out to you because I know you're a top agent. You can survive this easily. There's plenty of agents that are clueless that won't make any adjustments. So I just want to give you enough to be dangerous with. So I'm going to send you this. And here's what's worth talking about. This article was written in September of 2017. And one of the predictors was Zillow. That Zillow was basically going to eliminate the need for a realtor during the transaction. And how they were doing it was making an end-to-end experience by buying an MLS IDX, forming a real estate brokerage, streamlining the home buying process with an app that would give the consumer all the steps of the process and keep them up to speed and communicate with them, a mortgage company, and that they were buying .loop to do transaction management and get the data. Well, they did. So this lady that wrote this article is like a genius, and yet Zillow, it has Opendoor, it has OfferPad, it has EXP, it has Redfin, it has Compass. So it's definitely worth you catching up. This is kind of like the cliff notes of where we're at. Sound good?
Perfect.
Okay, so that I better understand how this impacts you and so I can correlate it directly to your business, I'm going to ask you just a couple quick questions about, how you run your business. Sure. Tell me how you run your business. So what kind of database do you use?
I use Top Producer.
Okay, Top Producer. And do you use it to its full extent or is it more of a Rolodex?
I've had it for years and years. I pay for it every month. My contacts are in there.
Okay.
I know I could get more out of it, but I don't.
Sure. How much do you pay for that?
It's about $49 a month.
Got it. And then what do you do for marketing, like sending out mailers, postcards?
I use Michael Lewis.
Okay,
I don't skimp on that.
Great. Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. Do you have any expense with that besides just the mailers themselves?
Mailers themselves, I'm sending them out to about 2,000 homes. That
Wow.
cost me, yeah, I send out a lot. So
That's a lot.
that's about 2,500 a month,
Okay.
on top of the fees that I paid Michael Lewis to have the service.
Sure. You have it. You actually have a virtual assistant doing the actual work for you.
No, I have my team member do that.
Okay. So you still have the cost of it being developed by the team member.
Correct.
When you think of like a typical mailer, like say it's a just listed or just sold postcard, how much time do you think that your gal or guy is spending doing that?
She's pretty good. She's got her systems down pretty pat, but I would imagine for a monthly mailer, she probably spends anywhere from 2 to 4 hours on it a month.
Okay, so let's call it 3. And what do you pay her? About $15 to $20 an hour?
18.
18. So let's call it about $60 for production time. Got
Okay.
it. 2,000 homes. That's a lot. I'm surprised by that. Okay.
Oh, price point's about anywhere between 200 and 400. It's
Okay.
a big community.
Now, what about like Facebook ads and social media and Pinterest and Instagram? Are you taking advantage of those opportunities or are you not?
Not to where I should be.
Okay.
I boost my posts for Facebook. I actually use my daughter so that she helps me do that social media because, she's better at that than I am.
I think my mom started taking me to the office at about age 8 and putting me to work. So, hey, that's how you get realtors. It's in our blood, right?
Right.
Okay, so would you want to be taking more advantage of social media since that's obviously a great opportunity? Okay, got it. What's holding you back from doing that?
It's kind of the fear of not knowing what I'm doing. I don't have that intuitiveness about just being able to do it. That's why I rely on my daughter.
Yes, we need to find a millennial and say, just go do it. And they know exactly what to do and they don't even have to think about it, right? It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
They're programmed different. What about your website? I couldn't find a website other than your RE/MAX landing page. Do you have your own website or blog?
I don't. I just use my landing page.
Got it. So you don't spend any money on an IDX feed or anything else?
Nope, that's provided.
Okay, great. Anything else that you do that you spend money on? Is there any other monthly check you write to any other vendor?
We use CTE to kind of run our numbers, and it's very affordable. It's $29 a month.
Got it. The thing is, all these little things add up, though. You start adding it up, you're like, dang. And let me ask you this. If you had it your way, if things were dialed in exactly how you wanted them, assuming you had the talent to do it, not necessarily you doing it, what else would you add to the picture for you?
I would have it kind of like set it and forget it. The fact that we have to do monthly mailers with statistics, and I wish there was a way that I could just have it all done for me. I put it in place and it works.
Got it.
That would give me the time to go out and do what I really need to be doing, which is lead generation.
Exactly. That's where we make our money. And it's not, I swear to God, making a flyer is not my strength. I don't know about you. I'll spend hours making one and then it still looks not
awful.
great. It looks not great. There'll be a typo, next thing you know, I sent that out. Better explain to me your team because I'm not real sure. I know you've got your daughter helping you out and you have your assistant. Is your assistant full-time?
No, she's part-time.
Got it. So you got part-time at $18 an hour. Got it. And what else? Do you have a transaction coordinator?
I do not. I just have one buyer's agent that helps me when I get busy with my listings.
Awesome. And do you have a way of monitoring and managing your pipeline and your leads so that you know that you're not missing any opportunity?
I'm embarrassed to say this, but we have a whiteboard in our office that we use.
Hey, that's what I used for years. Then I evolved to Google spreadsheets. So
yeah. I'm still on the whiteboard.
Yeah, well, it works. You got to do what works. A lot of times it's when I'm coaching, I'm like, what works? What will you do, right? Okay, so I want to correlate the Zillow killer to your business. Now, there's two parts. Gary Keller made $1 billion commitment to our technology platform, and it's because he had to. So I want to jump back, and this is where I'm timing out for a second, Tracy. I'm going to try to bring up my PowerPoint. I know we were having a hard time getting it to show.
Sure.
I know we can see it, but somehow it's hung up on something. So if I can't show this, I'm going to tell you I'm going to have this up. Can you see the screen with the industrial change, revolution change that Gary showed us at PAMR Union? Can you see that now or not?
All I see is slide 4. No, there it is.
Okay, you see it? The black. Okay, so this is where I'm going to, in like less than a few minutes, explain what's going on. And I'm going to have these slides, and these slides actually populate with the things popping up. And I'll share this with you so you can share it with the other team leaders. But real quickly, let me give you the cliff notes of what's going on right now. Just like this gal predicted in 2017 what was going to happen, let me catch you up.
Okay.
Think of like a taxi service. Back in the day, if you needed a ride, you would call a taxi, or there'd be taxi stands at certain areas, and you jump into a taxi, right?
Right.
And that worked for the taxi industry forever, from forever. That's just how they did things. And then one day, Uber came along, didn't they?
Yeah.
And can you imagine calling a taxi now?
Oh.
No. I mean, Uber kind of took taxi cabs out. Well, industries change. And back in the day, 20 years ago, it would take 10 or even 20 years for an industry really to have change. And today, industries are changing by the minute. So when we think of real estate, really any brokerage would be and this is a visual aid of showing the changes of industries and what happens if we don't adapt and adopt with the change. So in area 1, that's any brokerage right now would qualify for making it in area 1 as long as they had a website, basically, internet, hardware, software, and they had their information probably in a cloud on some type of platform. Well, what's happening now is that with artificial intelligence and big data really kind of disrupting all industries, we need to evolve. So if we go back and we look at different industries, like taxi companies to Uber, and Barnes & Noble to Amazon Books, and we look at Blockbuster to Netflix, those industries really were disrupted and had massive change quickly because of artificial intelligence and AI. And the funny thing is, we were just at a convention this last week, and we stayed at a VRBO, and I turned on their TV. It was a smart TV, and it had Netflix. And the funny thing is, I didn't like any of the shows because it wasn't my Netflix. It was the account for the homeowner. And apparently they're really big into goth and zombie movies, and I'm not. I'm more nature shows. So it was funny because I turned on Netflix and it wasn't the experience I'm used to. And, if you start binge watching in shows, it keeps popping up the same kind of shows, doesn't it? Well, that's AI. I mean, you need directions. You don't go pull out a map anymore. You say Google navigate to, or whatever you use. And so that's what AI is. And it really is in every industry. You can look at any industry and see it happening. Well, it's really happening to us today.
Okay.
So with that being said, most brokerages aren't really doing anything about it. And I have to tell you, and there's nothing against your brokerage by any means, but if you look at the headlines, and I'll just bring up a headline for you right now. You go to Inman News, which is a great resource. If you're not a member of it, you want to choose to. But you'll look at the current headlines, and one of them really concerns me specifically for your brokerage. So if you read about Compass, can you see that article, Compass and Contactually, on my screen?
I can.
Okay. So Compass is one of those companies that are being disruptive. It's in the white paper. Compass is a lot like Redfin. It's a very tech-driven company. It's a company that believes that they can reduce commissions to 1% and get us out of the deal. And they're heavily funded. Well, Compass just bought up Contactually. And ironically, Contactually is the CRM, or the back office database for your company.
Really?
And Realogy. So Realogy is Coldwell Banker, Century 21. It was Prudential. There's numerous brokerages under the Realogy umbrella and the Remax umbrella. So right now, Compass, who's a competitor.
Do you think they have access to my contacts?
Sure, they own the company.
Okay.
So isn't that kind of alarming?
That's scary.
It is, and that's why we're having this conversation, because you didn't know that. You're just going about your business like everyone else, And that's why I'm here to wake you up a little bit. I'm not here to freak you out because there's solutions. There are solutions, but you just need to be aware. The other thing is when you were sharing with me what you use, Top Producer, that kind of alarms me. You know why?
Why?
Who owns Top Producer?
I have no idea.
Realtor.com.
Seriously?
Yes. You can search it. It'll show, you'll see move.com, and move.com is realtor.com.
Okay.
So here's the thing is I want you to know what they're doing. They're positioning to get the data. So it's artificial intelligence with big data. So Compass, if they have enough data, their technology will run better. But here's the thing, Compass has less than 3,000 agents. Now, do you understand why they're doing it?
To get a hold of our data?
Exactly. So one of the things why Gary Keller made this big technology shift was because he wanted to protect us. He wanted to protect our data because all of us are on all kinds of different platforms. And frankly, we spend a lot of money on these platforms. You know, I just ran the numbers on yours. You're spending quite a bit of money. And yet you're sharing your critical data with your competitor. Basically, your arch enemy trying to take you out of the business.
Jessica, you're scaring me.
I'm sorry, but this is the truth. So I want to show you a few things. So this is, can you see our new command? This is kind of our, I'm giving super secret access right now. You can see underneath the, behind the gate, you can see everything right now. This is our platform. Now what's cool about it is that everything we have is ours. So Gary Keller built everything. So he owns this. So he has our data in a safe place. So we're able to disconnect from Top Producer or Boomtown or wherever, contextually, wherever we're at, so that we can put our data in a safe spot and we're not feeding it to our competitor. That's step number one. Step number two is we no longer have to pay for those outside bolt-on technologies. So an agent using something like Boomtown, they might be spending $2,800 a month. And they're now able to save that. So our agents are in love with this for the simple fact that their data's safe and they don't have to pay anything for this. And the expenditures that they had, they no longer have.
I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
If an agent, let's just say an agent joins Keller Williams and I upload all my contacts into the system, I find I'm not a match with your company. Now, do you keep my data?
No, we have a data pledge. So if you leave with everything and we don't do anything with your data. And we've been like that forever. I don't know if you know that in our independent contractor agreement, you can even take your listings with you. We know that your business is your business. And that's just something that's true and true to the heart of Keller Williams. Gary Keller believes it's your business. And so he's just providing us this platform so we can do it well, affordably, and not be feeding the monsters around us.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm going to jump into contacts. And what's neat about it, and so this is the thing, I give a brief tour. I'm going to go hit on contacts. You know what else I'm really going to hit on, Tracy? Is those mailers. And I'm going to show Facebook how to do a Facebook ad because you want to know how to do that. And I'm going to show in 5 clicks how you can do it. Now, what I also have up is I often cannot say it as well as Josh Team. So I will jump into K2B Connect and I'll go to the videos and I'll just play them because I cannot articulate as well as Josh does. He does such a great job. So I'm
Jessica, how long does it, I said I had 30 minutes, and which would, I think we're going to be obviously longer than that. How long does this actually take?
Okay, so I'm like, so that just happened. So guess what, Trace? We're almost to the end of the time that you have. And I want to keep going. Do you? Do you have more time or do you have time that we can get together later?
No, this is absolutely intriguing to me. I have time. Okay.
So that's it. That either happens or I say, hey, is there any way like tomorrow we can like actually get together face to face so I can show you this?
So if I really did only have 30 minutes, you're not like.
Yeah, I'm like, I totally get it. You're a busy lady. You do an amazing business. When in the next 3 days do you have an hour where we could sneak off together and I can actually show this to you?
Yeah, because I really want to see this, Jessica.
And you know what? Then I'll give you this, and we can talk a little bit more, so that you really know what's going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow up with you too with a couple articles. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I want to empower you to know what's going on. And think about it. How many people in your office are clueless about this right now?
Well, and I think what you just said is you don't want to overwhelm them, because with all of our new, information that we have in technology, you could overwhelm me, especially the person I'm playing right now.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. What I wouldn't do, though, is I wouldn't not show you how to do a Facebook ad in 5 clicks. Because I will eliminate the overwhelm, and that's what you want to do next, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to say, okay, with the few minutes we have, I want to show you what you're going to love the most. Because I know you said you wanted to do the Facebook ads and you don't really know. I'm going to show you how to do in less than 5 minutes a mailer out specifically to the neighbors or the people in the neighborhood that you should be targeting. And instead of sending 2,000 postcards, what about targeting it to like the 200 most important? And then I'll show the Facebook. So I'm going to end on a high note, which is leverage, which is the easy button. I'm going to take a little bit of overwhelm and I'm going to simmer it down so that we ended on a high note. And then I'm going to obviously schedule the appointment.
Perfect.
I haven't had anyone say no so far. Now I am chasing a few for actual appointment times, but I've got them like interested because they don't know. And then I have total credibility because I've taught them more in really 15 minutes than they know what's going on.
Quick question, Jessica. So let's just say I was using bolt-on technology in my character. If you met somebody that, didn't fit the person that you're looking for, that you could say, hey, you could take all this away and replace it with what we have at Keller Williams. What's your question?
So that's the pivot I make because I have that happen. Frankly, I don't do anything, Jess. I just go do open houses and network. Yeah. Awesome. Let me ask you this. Are you a little intimidated with the agents that are taking advantage of the craze of social media? I mean, if you knew how to do it, wouldn't you want in?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to talk about what they're missing out on if they're not.
Okay.
Same thing with Teams. I asked you specifically, do you have a way to track all the leads? Mm-hmm. I would say, can you imagine how awesome it would be if you had a crystal ball or even a screenshot of what all the leads, even cold ones, how long it's been since someone gave them some love or reached out or where they're at in the process. Can you imagine how awesome that would be? And how many more deals would you have done in your career if you wouldn't have forgotten about people that weren't quite ready now?
So you tailor your presentation to if that was the case, you'd say, hey, look at opportunities. If I have social media.
Missed opportunity. That's the pain. Missed opportunity, right? And the reality is with technology taking over our industry, the reality is you need to adapt. I don't want you to be a dinosaur left behind. You need to make this change or you will, because this is what the consumer expects now. So what is your plan? Is a great question. What is your plan?
That's awesome.
So that's really, there's nothing more than that. And then it's more of a traditional meeting when we get together. And
what do you bring when you meet with them on their traditional meeting?
Well, first of all, I always have my laptop. And I actually have a really convenient small one that I can bust out anywhere because I'm going to show. And I'm doing a needs analysis about where are you at? I'm talking about so before we dive into this, tell me more about you and what you want out of your career. And I go into a traditional consulting approach recruiting appointment. Okay. And I know their numbers because I went on Broker Metrics and I create the gap and say, this tech stuff's just part of it. What else do you want out of your life? And, saying, what's your plan and who's helping you with that? And then I bottom line it and say, based off of all those numbers that we talked about the other day, you're spending about $11,000 a year, it sounds like. Maybe even more probably if we looked at it. And do you realize our cap is $18,000? So for just $7,000, you could have all that. That's one closing. Yeah. If I got you one extra closing, would you benefit from all that? And
because if I really was a recruit, I probably would have asked, hey, Jessica, what's this all going to cost me?
Yeah. And the reality is it doesn't cost them anything. But what are they leaving behind?
A lot.
And what's their plan so they don't get left behind?
Good.
So just food for thought. So if you're not a member of Inman, get in there. Every day there's some drama and trauma to talk about. And, obviously the Zillow killer is a great thing. So you want to know the headlines, that the fact that Compass just bought their database.
Right.
And the fact that Gary bought Smarter Agent. Purple Brick in turmoil. Shares are plummeting. Brace for Zillow 2.0 fully unleashed. So it's total credibility because it's not me pumping out what this is. It's You know, look at Realogy. They're really hurting. They're down 19% in one day, their stocks. And this is why Realogy just sold their database to a competitor. Do you think their CEO's in a little trouble? Yeah.
Sure.
That's why it's called Realogy stock crater to all-time low after missing guidance. Yeah, their CEO sold their database to a competitor. That's kind of some missing guidance.
Yes.
So that's kind of the style approach I have, and it's working. I have had a lot of great agents join us, and I'm getting agents. So here's what I would say. Practice with your top 10 agents right now. Get in front of them right away and just get better at that kind of conversation, because you want to know what their bolt-on tech is now anyway, so you can help them cut those mooring lines and get off of it with the new platform. And they're going to be your best bet to go get appointments. So one of the things I did is I shared with my ALC this week that little post I did in Facebook, and I asked them, who are your top 5 friends in real estate right now?
Excellent.
You should do that Facebook post like I did. And don't send it to everybody. Don't like spam it all over, but just like intimately send it to a few. And we've gotten all of those appointments signed up for me. Now they're
They can go to downlines.
Yeah, for their downlines. And they're meeting with them at a coffee shop and just giving them the gist of it and say, you know what, you really owe it to yourself to meet with Jessica. I'll set you up with her for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. She explains it so much better than me. And she can plus you with a little bit of a business coaching, some ideas she'll have for you. And they've all—
One last question, Jessica.
Yeah.
As far as, I feel like this is a great tool for mergers and acquisitions. Do you have anything differently when you're, talking to, somebody who might merge into your office?
Well, ironically, that happened this week. We had a new team leader of ours in our region was meeting with me, and we're just kind of role playing. And she got a recruiting call from independent that has about 131 agents, and they're south of us. But she turned the conversation to say, hey, do you want to see the Zillow killer? And he did. And I think Nikki's meeting with them, and that would be 131 agent roll-in.
Wow.
So, yeah. And the proof is this: if you go to that video that I shared, I'm now at 528 views, and I've shared that to less than 24 people. So, and that's been only 3 days now. So I'm always changing what I'm doing. I'm always trying new things. This is what I'm trying now, and it's working. And I would challenge you all to try it out. Start with your own agents to get a little, work through the kinks and get a little flow going. And yet empower your top agents, your most influential agents, with this little secret so they can go send it to their friends and help you get those appointments. And what you're going to need to do is get help behind you, because you're going to have to be real flexible with your schedule. Because if an agent says, I can meet right now, it's like, game on, let's do it. And that's what I'm finding is the biggest challenge with my calendar is I didn't have enough time to say, oh yeah, I can do it tomorrow at 2, because I was overbooked. So I figured that out.
All right.
Cool. Well, I would love to hear some success stories. So try it out. Let's share and let's do it.
All right.
And I'll share all this. I'll share this little white paper with you, Trace, as well as my kind of slides. And you guys can just make them your own.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.